Okay, Sarah, we've got 2 more people that have arrived. What would you like me to do?
Awesome. Can I just know what those 2 people do, just so that when as and when I can, I'll include things for specific people.
Sure. So I think it's Terry and Madeline that have just come in. Would you like to, Madeline and Terry?
Madeline Daisy.
Madeline Sparks and
Madeline Sparks. Yep.
Terry Gasparich.
Oh, yeah.
So if those 2 ladies would just like to write in the chat your what you do. Thank you.
Great. All righty. So I'm Sarah Davies from Sweet Spot Business Coaching. I have been working with businesses and helping them grow through their marketing for more than 20 years. And today I'm going to be talking to you specifically about marketing your service business. And what I've done is I've basically taken marketing and its intricacies and complications and just really simplified it to something that you can really understand. So we're going to be covering the foundations of marketing your service business, the marketing cycle, and then you're going to be choosing activities, and then I'll go through how to get started, and if you need more help, how I can help you, and then at the end we'll have a Q&A. So for any of your marketing to work, you need to have your business foundations in place. So the first thing is that you need to be solving a problem. And I'm just going to do these ones in summary because I could basically do a workshop on each of these things. But you've got to be solving a problem and adding value. And that problem needs to be enough of a priority for people to want to spend their money to get it sorted. And there needs to be enough, you need to have a big enough pool of people for it to sustain you. You need to understand who your ideal client is. So this is the first thing that I work on with clients. Your target audience is it's kind of like, it's a wide range of people. So it might be 20 to 40-year-old women. Now we all know that every 20 to 40-year-old woman is not going to be working with you. So we can kind of hone that down. Let's say you were a, what have we got? Let's say that you're a makeup coach. So we've got 20 to 40-year-old woman. Not every woman is going to work with you. So then you might hone it down and you might say, okay, so out of those, looking for a niche within 20 to 40-year-old women, who is going to be more likely to work with you? And then with that, you're going to be looking at, say, that they've got disposable income, that they don't have the skills themselves, or maybe they're so into it that they have the skills, but they would pay for more skills, and that it's something that's of value to them, that they care about. And then, so that's your niche, but that's still quite broad. So who within that would then be your ideal client? So it could be somebody who is getting married, or it could be somebody who is returning to work after being on maternity, or something like that. So what's going to be the catalyst? So we kind of, when we're looking at the ideal client, we're going much deeper into mindset, really, as to why they're going to work with you. And then from that, and you can do that whatever your business is, and then from that, we want to make sure that our messaging is really clear. And once you're talking to that person who's returning to work, your messaging is so much clearer than if you're just talking to 20 to 40-year-olds who want to, who might want to have a makeup lesson or something. You need to be putting yourself where your prospects are, because if you're not in the right place, then you can be putting all the messages out there, but nobody's going to hear it. So you need to know where they are and put yourself there. And you need to offer great value at the right price. Now, this is a really interesting one, because if you price too high, then you put yourself out the ballpark. If you price too low, then it causes hesitancy within making decisions. So I worked with a graphic designer a few years ago on a project, and he had like more than 10 years experience, and he was charging a really low price, and he just couldn't get work. And I said to him, why are you charging such a low price? And he said, well, it's because I'm from South America, and I think that people don't trust me in New Zealand, and so I have to, you know, get the work on price. And I asked a few friends, because I was like, what? And it was a complete story in his head. So, but because of that, people were kind of like, well, what's wrong with him? Like, you know, and so you've got to get that pricing right. Okay, so just going on to the next one. So benchmarking your choices. We're going to be going within this, we're going to be going through a heap of different activities and choices and things that you can do. And this is what you want to benchmark each choice you make against. So does it put you in front of your ideal clients? Do you have the skills to do the activity, or can invest in learning? Now, when we look at the different activities, don't choose 4 things that you're going to have to upskill on and invest in learning, because that will make it really hard to actually implement and get going. So personally, what I like to do is learn one thing at a time, and technology does not come easy to me, and you guys might be, you know, in the same boat. So it's just something to consider. There's loads of different ways that you can grow your business without having to like, you want it to be easy for you. You want it to be something you enjoy. So yes, it's good to upskill, but you know, just kind of have it in balance. You have time to do the activity consistently. So if you decide that you're going to do blogging, for instance, then you need to be putting out more than 4 blogs a year. And so it's something, you know, you need to be able to do it regularly. If you're going to do networking, then sign up for something that you have the time to go along to and invest the time in doing it. Whatever you do, you need to do it properly, or you can be seen as a bit of a fly by night. And I see people who, you need to be able to do it even when things are going well for you, to keep up that consistency. Because I see this a lot on social media, that people will put posts and posts and posts, and then they've got busy and you'll have nothing. And then suddenly the tap turns off, and then it's posts and posts and posts. And so, and you know, when they've run out of work, then you've got to start the machine all over again. So just think about the time it's going to take when you choose your activities, and then go for activities that you enjoy, that work with your strengths, because then you're more likely to do them. If you're somebody who doesn't really like networking, and you're going to spend, you know, 2 hours procrastinating before you get there and then hide in the toilets, it's probably not the best use of your time. And there's lots of other things that, you know, that you can do. Okay, so this is the marketing cycle. So first of all, we need to have some attention strategies. Now, this is basically to get you in front of new people who have never heard of you. And then nurturing strategies are, they've heard of you, and now you've got to build like, know, and trust with them. And then we're going to go through some sales techniques and closing sales. I'm going to give you a couple of tips on that. And then how can you retain your clients? How can you extend the life cycle or the customer cycle of them working with you? And then when you've done a brilliant job, how can you turn them into a raving fan so that they help to bring you your new clients? Okay, so we'll go on to attention strategies first. Am I going too fast? Am I going okay?
I'll speak for everyone, just a little slower maybe.
Okay.
What do you think, everyone? Are you guys good with that? Thumbs up, yes. Yeah, just a little slower. Yay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so yes, so your attention strategies, this is where you're finding new prospects. Now, what I often find when I start working with clients is that they're either always trying to find new prospects and they're not looking after the people who are actually interested, who are already in a customer journey with them, or they're just talking to those same people who are in the customer journey and they're not moving them along, but they're not actually finding new people. So for example, if you've got a newsletter database and all you're doing is sending out newsletters, you're just talking to the same people. So this is about finding new people. So what this could look like is social media posts, commenting on posts. They click onto your website, they meet you at a networking event, they listen to a podcast that you're a guest on, or you receive a flyer in your mailbox. It's that first 1 to 8 touch points. And so I'm going to run through some ideas and then let's see what resonates with you. And don't forget to benchmark them against those the four things in the quad. Okay. So you could connect with people on LinkedIn and start conversations. Now, LinkedIn is really good for, it's kind of normal on LinkedIn to just reach out, to connect with somebody and message them and start a conversation. You can do it on Facebook as well. I do it, but sometimes people come back to me and say, what do you want to know? And I'm like, oh, okay, I was just connecting. So LinkedIn is more that way inclined. However, and you can pick the people that you want to link with, that you want to connect with. You can also go into groups. So this is especially good if you're business to business, and say you had something that you wanted to target for HR. Maybe you were a VA for the HR sector or something. You can actually go into an HR group. So then when you put posts in that group and connect with people in that group, all those people are your, potentially your ideal clients. Having Zoom coffees. I love having Zoom coffees. I am more of a one-to-one connector than a, go to a big a one-off networking thing. And I find personally that I can connect with somebody really well, in 45 minutes. And sometimes it's about finding people who are great services for my clients. If my clients need a copywriter or, whatever, I want to know good people who I think are good people who share my values. So this also goes into nurturing as well, the Zoom coffees. You could be a guest blogger or a podcast guest. Now, if you were going to do this, then you would need to find, say, one blog or podcast a month where you could be a guest. People who have blogs on their website, they like this because they're continually having to create content, and it gives them, it gives you an opportunity to be in front of their audience. So you're reaching new people and you're kind of doing them a favor, and it's good for everybody's SEO as well. And then the same with being a guest on a podcast, but just make sure that with a podcast, those people who are listening, are they your ideal client, or are they connected to your ideal client? So it's got to be, worthwhile doing. And you can just approach people. So I think actually on podcast shows, there's I was listening to one recently, and a guy said, if you want to be on a podcast, you just click the thing and email the podcaster and say, I'm interested, in being on your show. So you could probably go into, one of the apps and actually just go through and find the right ones for you. Social media, Facebook groups. This is another thing that I love and have found really, really great, and is something that I think is easy for people to do. So if this is one of your strategies, one of the first things you need to do is to create a social media content plan. So you're not just putting out activity and noise, you're actually, there's actually a strategy behind your posts, and that you're giving, building like, know, and trust by giving value and as well as offers, but more value and knowledge than offers. So, I mean, I would say to you guys, for how many of you think that your ideal client is within the Girl Talk Business group? But actually, it would be quite interesting to have a show of hands on that. If you just pop your
thumbs up, or raise your hand, or thumbs up in the little reaction box. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1. They're disappearing.
Oh, they are. They're popping. I think it's quite a quick thing. Okay.
It is, yeah. So there's about 10.
Yeah. Okay. So if your ideal client is within the Girl Talk Business, then that's somewhere that you should be. And you would actually, as I do, get a lot more from Girl Talk Business as a member, because you can do so much more. And I think that the Friday post where people put their service and stuff is really awesome, but it's that's only going to get you so far. As a member, you're going to get a lot more out of it, and it's, for me personally, it has really helped me grow my business, and I'm happy to talk to you guys about how it has helped me as well. But yeah, you want to get a social media content plan, join the right groups, and just join the groups that you can service, where you can show up. There's no point in joining a group and actually not showing up. And then having your content plan, creating a unique offer with another service. So you could do this if you're a photographer. You could join together with a makeup artist, and you can create a service which is great for somebody who's having a shoot done. You've got the hair and makeup person and the photographer, and both of you can then market that to your audiences and reach more people. The same with, say, somebody who hosts websites and somebody who creates websites, or somebody who's a copywriter and somebody who does websites. Forming a strategic partnership. This is something that I love. It is quite detailed. This isn't just about swapping referrals every now and then. It's actually about how can we together grow our businesses together. And I work quite deeply with clients on this, because it's something that can really help you grow, but you need to set it up properly for it to be active. So it starts off with having a brainstorming session where you actually talk about what you can do, and what with intention, what you're going to do, and then that might be kind of putting a service together. It might be being on each other's newsletters, that kind of thing. Regularly speaking at events. You can do this through, there's agencies that you can do this through. It's something I've just started doing, where they take a commission, but they just book you and then you go along and speak. But once again, you're going to need to find those people and find those events. They're not just going to come to you. Getting introduced to key people. This is something that I do a lot with my clients. I've just done it with a wellbeing client who's put together a program for corporates, and I have quite, although I don't really work with corporates, I have a lot of contacts in corporates. So asking people, if you know who you want to get in front of, then talk to the people and find people who can introduce you. And then going on to the next one, you just approach them and say, hey, look, I've got this idea, or I'm looking to do this. I'd love to have a 15-minute chat with you and find out if you feel it would be of value. Because people love this. I actually did this when I first came to New Zealand, and I worked in agencies, and I actually just wanted to get a feel for the country and how agencies worked here. And it was just a great way to connect with people. And I got several job offers just through doing that, whilst I'm sure if I'd just kind of sent my CV, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. Posting frequently on local Facebook pages. So this is good if you are what I call a community service provider. So you might be a hairdresser, you might be a massage therapist. Your clients are generally within 5K of where you work. And they would use you again and again. You might be a kind of lawn mowing service, something like that. Offering a webinar to people who need your knowledge. Obviously, this is what I am doing today. You can also do this. You can do it through Facebook groups. You can do it through LinkedIn. You could do it through even Facebook ads. I'm guessing. Yeah, you could do it through Facebook ads as well. But it might be too much of a stretch. You'd have to have it really, really good in the back end, because it might be too much of a stretch it for somebody to see an ad and then go to a webinar. Might be kind of, the jump might be too far. Media releases are great. Now, New Zealand is one country where you can approach the media directly. Where I used to work in London, you would just not do that. But in New Zealand, they actually ask you. I often see them kind of going, if you've got a story, then send it to us. So that's something that you consider. Also, industry awards and letters in mailboxes as well. Okay, so I'm thinking that you may have written down. Does anybody need some time to just write down a couple of ideas, or have you written as I've talked? All good?
Cool. We've got brain sitters saying all good.
Cool. Okay. Right, so for your attention, that's finding new people. You've found the new people, and now you want to nurture them. So they've shown an interest in you. And so now we're on the kind of 8 to 16 touch points. And this isn't science. Sometimes somebody will, see what you've got and just go, yep, you're the one for me. So it's not, it varies as to how long this nurturing goes on for, but it's basically where you're changing from a prospect to a lead. And at this time, you want to be building like, know, and trust. So you can do this through social media. It's great to do this with social media, and that's what I have done in the Girl Talk Business group. So, and if you put my name in the Girl Talk Business group, you can actually look back and see how I've done it, where I give a lot of value. I share knowledge and things like that. But I can only do that because I'm in a paid membership. But for me, it's worth my while. And I think for some of you guys, I think that there is definitely opportunity where other people aren't, taking that space to become known in that group. You can do things like having a free lead magnet. Oh, sorry, I've gone on to the things too quickly. So with the nurturing, one thing that is really important is getting an email address. And we see from today why this is so important with Facebook going down. So you should never build your business on someone else's platform alone and not have a backup. And I'm sure for Ines, you would know this, with Girl Talk Business being a Facebook group. So
I want to jump in, and I want to just jump in quickly and say, I just had this feeling over the last week. I don't know whether it's COVID and making me very, antsy, but all I could think of was, you can't just rely on Facebook. You've got to have your emails sorted so you can have a way to communicate with people. Yeah, and you've got to have diversity. So if you've got everything on Facebook, they can just switch you off like that. You can lose all your followers, you could lose your page, and if you don't have a backup somewhere, then
then you could be starting from scratch. And so with this nurturing, it's building a relationship. It can be days, it can be years. It really varies. I've had people who've come to work with me and they're like, I've followed you for 3 years. I love your work. I'm like, really? And you've never even given me a like? If you follow my page, please just give me a like if you see a post. Just tell me that there's somebody there. And that is one of the things with social media, is going on to this now. Social media content builds like, know, and trust. When you're doing it on, say, in Girl Talk Business, it's giving you the opportunity to reach new people. It's giving you an opportunity to build that like, know, and trust. When you're doing it on your own page, what I see is that when someone's interested in working with you, they go to your page and check you out. They want to see what you're like. They want to see what your voice is. They want to, see what knowledge you have and that kind of thing. So they will scroll back through your last, say, 10, 12 posts. So that's why it's really important to have that balance of giving knowledge and value, because that's how we operate. We scroll back, we look and go, oh yeah, and and if there's a video, you watch it and kind of see, do I connect with that person? And that's what they're looking for. They're looking to see if they connect with you. You could create a free lead magnet and an email nurture sequence. And this is a way of getting an email address. So if you're going to do this, then you want something that is high value to the receiver. And then you have an email nurture sequence that follows, where you build that like, know, and trust. You might have make a mini course, and this is one way of that people kind of carve up what they offer. So say you had a business where there's kind of 6 areas, then you might do a mini course which offers a solution for one area, and then you upsell to the other areas. So sometimes people do this, say if they're starting a coaching program, then it might be kind of, there's 6 parts to it. Buy the first part, and then either buy the rest of it and the course is on a platform, or come to the group coaching or something like that. Videos and emails, these are great for nurturing. So I've recently done a new email nurture sequence, and I've decided I'm just doing it. The first couple of emails are written, and then I've decided I'm just going to do videos, and I'm just going to give value, every 2 weeks, just on different areas of my work, just 2-minute videos. And that gives people the opportunity to, kind of see what your personality is, get some knowledge, and makes it worth their while, and they'll want to stay on your list. And then when the timing is right, they'll work with you. If you're building a community or building up your page, then welcome every new follower. Send them a little message or messenger and just say hi. It kind of makes people feel invited. Or you can do a post, unless your group is so huge now, and I know that sometimes you'll do a post saying, hey, just welcoming all the new people. And the other thing that's nice to do if you're a member of that group is to also welcome those people, because they could be your next client. And it's just a nice thing to do. It's kind of like turning up to a party and, somebody coming up and going, hey, how you going? Oh, party, I'd love to be at a party. Or have one in the diary. Okay, setting up a swipe library. Now this is really good for nurturing. When you see information that could be of value to people, then just save it. And then then if you're having in conversation with somebody, you see something and you can just tag them or send it to them and just say, hey, I saw this in the news and just thought it might be something that's of interest to you, based on our conversation the other week. It's also really good for opening doors, if you have, kind of if the timing's not right, you were going to sell to somebody, the timing wasn't right, you can reopen doors with a swipe library. But it needs to be something that is, of value and that's not going to annoy them. Video lives are great on social media as well, and they get really good reach. Following up with cold leads, is the timing right for you now? And when you're having your sales conversations, if you do get a no, then it's good to find out why you're getting a no. And if it's just that the timing's not right, then you can say to that person, hey, how about I give you a call back in 6 weeks and we can see where you're at. Offering a discovery call is another good one, and it gives you an opportunity to find out if they're right for you, as well as if you're right for them. And it really is, when you want to work with your ideal clients, it really is a two-way thing. Because I would consider all my clients I work with a friend, and I feel really connected to them. But like, I had a call a couple of weeks ago with a guy, and I do work with guys as well, but he was just really kind of talking in real corporate language and all very competent and stuff. And I just felt like, look, just let the veil down and let's just chat. And I kind of thought, you're definitely not my ideal client. So it is a two-way thing. Don't feel that you've got to work with anybody and everybody who comes along just to get the work, because the ones who aren't your ideal clients end up, taking up 80% of your time. And it's just not the best way to grow your business. Joining networking groups. So, there's lots of in-person ones around. Once again, you want to have the time to go to the meetings and to meet with people personally afterwards and really get to know them. And also the online group. Like, it's been really cool. The last few weeks, Inessa started doing, catch up coffee networking with Girl Talk Business. And that's been really nice to meet some of you guys. And it's a great way to connect and meet other people. And then also your newsletter. I'm sure lots of you have got newsletters or blogs. With newsletters and blogs, now people have different ideas of how often they should go out. My personal preference, I'm not saying this is right, but my personal preference for a newsletter is once a month, 3 to 5 topics, and only putting things in if it's, don't be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to fill it, because people, won't enjoy reading it and they'll unsubscribe. By using other people, like you could do a thing where you have, client of the month and talk about a case study you've done or something like that. So you bring in other people, or you could have different people that you partner with and get them to do a piece in your newsletter. Okay. Sales. I love sales. Let's just have a show. Who loves sales and who hates sales? What emojis have we got?
No emojis. Oh, sad face. Oh, surprise face. 1 thumbs up from Kirsty. Michelle's got a smiley face. Got an angry face from Kathy. Is it an angry face or just a scowly face from Kathy? A surprise face from Sandra. A lot of confusion. Oh, a thumbs down from Kristen. A poo sign from Moist Words.
Okay.
Sally loves it. There's a little bit of unhappiness about sales, Sarah.
Okay, so sales, like it or hate it, it's part of running a business, and it's something that you've just got to get to grips with. And I think actually once you understand the psychology of sales, it takes away the scariness of it, and you stop. It becomes easier. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what your sales process is, and the psychology of it, and some closing techniques, and also how to leave the door open. So you might be automated. You might have everything automated on your website, that you don't actually have to have touch points. where you don't actually have to connect with them. And some people who say sell courses online do this really, really well. It might be a phone call. It might be an email. If you are working with business to business, you might need to put proposals in, or if you're a website designer, you might need to put proposals in. And I actually offer this as a standalone service as well as in my group coaching. Create a foundational proposal so that that is a really good proposal, and then you just customize it every time you need to send it out, rather than having to start from scratch each time. Now, the sales call that you have, or the sales meeting that you have prior to writing that foundational proposal, is key to the success of that proposal, because you need to ask the right questions to then be able to write a good proposal. And then also pitch documents, which are similar to proposals, but is more a kind of presentation style. And especially if you're working with agencies and stuff like that, then that would is often expected there. So here's my tips on sales techniques. So if you're doing it as a phone call or a meeting, the first part is about building a connection. And often it doesn't even have to be about business. It's just about, what's going on in your life. I mean, a classic one at the moment is kind of, how's lockdown affecting you? Or, what's the juggle struggle like in your house, or something like that. And then it is going into what is the problem that they have. Now, this is something that is key. You should only be talking 20% of the time and listening 80% of the time. So knowing that, you want to be asking questions like, what is the problem? What's going on for you? And how's that affecting you? And what does that feel like for you? And these are all really key questions that are going to help you when you write your proposal. It also takes the stress off you having to feel like you've got to present and perform, because you've just got to ask the questions, and then the person will tell you what the problem is. They will tell you how you can help them. And you want to make sure you get a thorough understanding of the problem and then feed it back to them. So it's called effective listening. And you're basically going, okay, so my understanding is that you've developed this website, but you've tried to write the copy, but you just keep getting stuck. Is that what I'm hearing? And then they're agreeing, yeah, that is the problem I have. Now then you want to give them your solutions, but only talk to them about what's relevant to them. So if you're a copywriter, don't talk to them about social media content writing at this point. Just talk to them about writing, for websites. And then then you want to give them two choices. So it might be, sometimes the choices might be two ways of paying. So, we can either set up the payment monthly, or you can pay, in advance in one lump sum, something like that. Or you might have different levels. So you might say, well, so this is, and I mean, don't use bronze, silver and gold, because it's a bit basic, but you might say this is the bronze level that you could and this is what I could do for you, or I can at the silver level I can do such and such. So then that gives them choice. Now, the closing techniques, these are some ways of asking for a sale without asking for a sale. Does that sound like the kind of thing you're looking for? Are you thinking that you're drawn more to, say, one-to-one coaching or group coaching? Okay, if you wanted to start, have your first blog out by the 1st of November, we need to receive your topic brief by mid-October. which would mean I'd need to do the briefing call with you by the 1st of October. Would that work for you? And then they say yes, then you can say, okay, do you want to put a date in the diary now? So that's a way of kind of closing the sale without saying, have I got the job? You know, or does that timing fit with you? Now, leaving the door open, if the timing isn't right, then you need to know why. And you know, or if it's a no, then you need to know why. And this is where you might kind of get objections, but you learn to love objections, because objections are questions that you haven't yet answered, or you're not showing enough value, or they're not your ideal client. And if they're not, that's cool, you know, move on. But if there is still potential there, then this is where you can find out, and ask, you know, have you got any questions or anything that I haven't clarified, and give them the opportunity to, you know, to say that. And then if the timing's not right, this is when you can start using the swipe file and sending information to them. Like, don't bombard them, but if you see something that is relevant to somebody, then send it to them, or send them a note and go, hey, how you going? I know you had that pitch coming up. What happened? You know, I'd love to know. But it's authentic. You would love to know, not just for what you would kind of get out of it. Okay, right, we'll go on to retaining clients. Right, so this is around understanding what your clients' needs are. And the closer you work with your clients, then the more that they will share with you. So you can offer them new services as you hear their problems, and look to extend the relationship with them, because it costs 5 times more to get a new client than to get more business from a current client. And if you keep solving problems and adding value, then they'll want to stay with you. And generally, businesses want to have a small, loyal team around them, for lots of reasons. I mean, for me, it's, you know, the first thing is it's a trust thing. I want people who are good around me. I don't want to have to keep briefing different people. And, you know, we want to have a team, people in our corner. Okay, so I've got a few ideas here for you. So a maintenance or ongoing service. So if you were, say, you had created a website, then you might have a maintenance service that you, you know, put on that. If you are we've got a photographer. If you're a photographer, you could do the initial shoot for a slightly kind of lower price, and then have a subscription where they buy photos every 3 months, because what people think they need when they have that initial photo shoot, and then they want more images in, say, 3 months or 6 months time, you could set up a great subscription so that you have money keep coming in, all from that first shoot that you did. You could partner with another service provider to offer something new. So that's like, you know, the like a brand photographer or a kind of copywriter or something like that. Re-engaging with old clients. So you've done the initial work for them. So you might have coached them on something, or say something where they would want accountability. I'm just looking through. So Marissa, for you with the transformational coaching, you might have an accountability group that people join to keep them, you know, motivated. Offering something new that solves a problem that your clients share. So I did a business retreat earlier this year, and my business retreat was all around the struggle of running a business and having a better biz life blend, and coping with overwhelm, which has nothing to do with business strategy and marketing, but it was something that I kept hearing from my clients in session. And I wanted to do a retreat, and so I basically answered their problem which was all based around, you know, what they had told me, what the different people had told me, and the pattern that I saw. So just pop down a couple of ideas of what you could do there. Okay, and then referrals. Now, I reckon that referrals are the best way to grow your business. So you can do this through referral programs, business advocates, and also this is where your social proof is really important as well. So getting reviews and testimonials is really, really important in this way. So a double-sided referral. So this is when you're getting referrals from clients that you have worked with, and you basically create a program and you give a reward to the person who has given you the referral, but also to the new person who is your new client. And it's called double-sided because everyone wins. And the reason for doing this is, if it's only a single-sided one, then it can feel a bit like, you know, I gave your name and I got a bit of money or something. It just feels a little bit icky. And so this way, everybody wins. And even if you do it for a lower price, it's still, I mean, if you gave $50 to each one, that would be it's quite nice to go to Westfield and have a $50 voucher to buy something that, you know, you might normally feel unjustified to buy. But you can kind of buy it as a present for yourself. You can tell my love language. Business advocates from strategic partnerships. So this is, you know, where you've got that partnership and you have, there's somebody who's already working with your ideal client. And a BBY, so this is the business before yours. So what's in it? So this is where you have a voucher system. So if you're hosting, I feel like I'm talking about websites a lot, I don't know why, but say you were hosting websites, then you might give a voucher to some website designers and say, look, once you've done the website, if your client wants to host it with me, here's a discount for the first 3 months. And then they give it to their client when they finish. So think about, in your business, who works with your client before you do? And is there a way that you can link with that person? Because they've already got the trust with the ideal client. They've already got the relationship and the connection. But then also, you also want good people in your network that you can then pass your clients on to. You know, who's the next person after you that they work with? And can you team up with that person? You know, so you can kind of create these great partnerships. Social proof. So getting Google reviews, Facebook reviews, LinkedIn, Yellow, posts in groups are all really important. The best way to get your reviews is to, if you get them to do a review on Facebook or Google, then you can create it into, then, you know, even strangers will see it, but you can also create it into a social media post and share it in your groups. But if somebody has just emailed you a testimonial, then you can't get that onto Google, and you can't get that as a Facebook review. So doing it the right way round in the beginning means that you can make better use of it. Okay, so where to start? Have I overloaded you? How's everyone feeling about this? Is it actually, I'm going to go through the where to start before you answer that, because I'm going to make you feel better. Right, so think about the next 90 days. Be realistic, make a plan. Choose, if you're just starting out or you don't really have any marketing in place, just choose one activity from each section. Think about what you're already doing and how you can do it better, rather than starting from scratch. If you're already getting getting testimonials emailed to you, it's not that much of a jump to get them, you know, put onto Google. You know, it's just setting it up, or getting Facebook reviews. It's just the way you ask for them. So it's not that much of a jump. And diarize time that you're going to work on your marketing, because it will pay off, but it's not something that you can do as an add-on. You need to commit to it. And choose the easiest path. You know, look back at the 4 quadrant of benchmarking, and go for things that you enjoy, things that you're already half doing that you could be doing better, things that that play with your strengths, that come easily to you. And then you've got to be committed. So don't just do it for 3 weeks and say that it doesn't work. You need to do it for a substantial amount of time before you can ascertain if it's working for you. Okay, these are 3 keys to success. So if you've got to upskill in something, then I mean, the easiest way is to find somebody who's already done it, who can help you to upskill. And I mean, in terms of, like, you know, there's actually lots of resources and help through Girls Talk Business to help you on your journey and upskilling and educating. And this will fast track your success, rather than kind of going through oodles and oodles of YouTube videos, trying to find the one that resonates, because I've been there, I've done that. My advice would be, it's a time sucker. Have a coach. You're not supposed to be on this journey alone, and work with somebody who knows, who's already kind of trodden the path that you want to tread, and you can learn from their experience and shortcuts, and get to your goal quicker. And then surround yourself with the right people. We are the result of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with most. So have the right people in your corner to help you on your journey. And they're people who, they not only have good skills, but they've got the right, you know, headspace and mindset. When you've been with them or connected with them, you leave feeling uplifted and, you know, wanting to go forwards. You're not kind of leaving feeling negative. Okay, if you need more help, I have business success mastermind groups, 2 groups. So Get Booked is ideal for you if you are early in your business journey, if you're needing to get your foundations in place, and you're wanting to attract either consumers or individual business-to-business clients. Corporate to consultant is ideal if you are somebody who has a wealth of knowledge in one area. So I often work with people like leadership coaches, or somebody who's kind of come out of corporate, or, you know, and is setting up on their own, or they just have this wealth of experience and they need to package it. So you might be an HR person, you've got this wealth of experience, but then how do you actually package it into something that somebody wants to buy? You're looking for sales training, and you need to do things like writing proposals. Now, what I didn't put on this slide, which I meant to, and I think it's in your workbook, is if you are a Girl Talk Business member, then, and this is only for the Girl Talk Business members, you get a bonus one-to-one coaching session with me, which is valued at $300 plus GST, which basically it means is about the same as the Girl Talk business membership. So it means that you get that for free. But yeah, so I forgot to put it in the workbook, but you've heard it here, and it's my promise to you. If you are more interested in, so with the mastermind groups, you're actually kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because as well as moving your business forwards, you're also connecting with other people. Now, referral, I believe will happen naturally in the groups, but there's no push on, bringing referrals or anything. It's about connecting, having people in your corner, helping you on this business journey, and having my expertise to help you get there. So the format is that we meet once a month for a 3-hour session. You'll do something really chunky. Like I did a group on Friday, and we did their social media content plan for the next 4 months. And that was really cool, because within the group they could say, okay, I make cakes. If you were going to buy a cake from me, what would you want to know? What would you want to see in my social media? And it was really good to get that kind of, and there was a graphic designer as well, what would you want to know if you were going to work with me? So it's really good for getting actual feedback from people who could be your potential client. So you get an onboarding one-to-one strategy session. You're at the 3-hour meeting once a month, and then every Monday we do a get stuff done session, and I have people from different groups who come along to that, but it's a time that you can access me. And then I've got a whole library of training videos going through the sales calls, and writing proposals and social media content plan and all the things, so that even if what you learn in the session isn't right for you right now, you can always go back to it. And especially my sales training one is, people watch it over and over and over again. Plus you get email support from me, and tools and resources, and your own private Facebook group. And that's actually really cool to have a place where you can go, hey, I've just made this lead magnet, what do you guys think? Or and the group members love that. If you are more of a one-to-one person, then I have a member exclusive offer. This is only for if you're a Girl Talk Business member. And this is working with me. It's a 2.5-hour session to put together your service biz marketing plan. And so we'll go through your attracting, nurturing, helping you create offers, retaining clients, how you can do that, and creating your raving fans. And then also I'll do the sales training specifically with you and help you find the right words for you. So we do 1.5 hours of the plan creation, and then we'll do a follow-up coaching session afterwards, once you've kind of started to implement it, to see how that is for you. Okay, so I just want to say, thanks to Girl Talk Business. I think for all of us, it's an awesome platform, and there's so many people, in that platform. It's amazing. It's like 8,000 businesswomen in that platform. And thank you to Ines for the opportunity, for me to be in front and help you guys on your journey. There is so much that is to offer on the platform, it's really great to be able to connect with other members. I put a post out a few weeks ago. In fact, some of the people on here I've met with, just saying, who haven't I met? Let's have a Zoom coffee. And it's been so cool actually meeting and having a Zoom coffee with other members on the, in the group, and just building some great connections there as well. So, and as I said before, if your audience, if your ideal clients are in those 8,000 women, then it's a platform that is worth you being on, and not just the tip of the iceberg with the odd, Friday post, but actually kind of getting in there and, making it part of your network. Okay, so if you want to have a Zoom coffee with me afterwards, I'm always up for a Zoom coffee, especially in lockdown. If you want to have a Zoom coffee with me, or you've got some questions, or you're not sure, you want to work with me, but you're not sure what's right for you, then just email me afterwards. Ines is going to send you an email with a link. And she's also going to send you a resource called Get Booked, which you can download on my website. So I am going to go to the questions now. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the chat. Nothing is too silly. Nothing is too silly.
Fee wants to know, how often should you connect with your coach?
So how often you should connect with your coach? So it depends on in what capacity that you're working with them. Some people only do a once a month session with their coach. With my one-to-one clients, I generally have 2 sessions a month with them. And I like to work on something chunky in each session so that you feel like you're really moving forwards and not just talking about the day-to-day stuff that's going on in your business, but I do help with that as well. So yeah, I guess it really depends. With my group coaching, I connect with them every week because I connect with them every Monday at the Get Stuff Done. And then we have the big meeting once a month as well. But your coach should be available to you. I mean, my clients will email me or message me whenever, and I'm happy with that. I think it depends on the coach, actually, because some coaches are, have they probably have more strict boundaries, but yeah, I want to be there for my people.
I had Natasha Wells just up the top there ask, can you decode swipe library, Sarah? I'm not sure what that means. Is that
okay? Yeah. So this is based on, so you have conversations with people, and I'm trying to think for you, because I know you in particular. So you might be talking to somebody about so Natasha is a brand coach and helps people get their brand right. So you could be talking to somebody, say you see a new font that comes out. So you've got somebody who who was talking about fonts and how they want to get a new their branding redone, but it's not the right time, and they hate the block font that they've got, and they really want script. You could see a new font come out and just go, hey, I saw this and thought of you. Is this the kind of, I was just thinking back to our conversation, is this the kind of thing that you were referring to? Does that make sense?
It does.
It does, yeah. I'm going to unmute because it's really weird when someone is actually answering a question and you're sort of sitting there nodding. Yeah, that's awesome, Sarah. That's awesome. I think it's really the, what's the kind of thing that's going to be valuable in a swipe file. You don't want to be just sharing willy-nilly stuff that doesn't necessarily link to, what it is that and where your area of expertise is. So, yeah, just I guess those things could be, resources that you come across in other platforms that you might be part of. If say something comes through on LinkedIn that's kind of relevant, that's the sort of thing.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't have to be your stuff at all.
Okay.
In fact, it's probably not going to be your stuff unless you designed a new font and kind of went, hey, I was just happened to be doing this and I was thinking, but yeah, it's going to be other people's stuff, but it's relevant to the conversation that you've had in some way. Or you might kind of, they might be saying, when they were talking about rebranding, that they were thinking about going with, blues and yellows or something. And you might see, say, a competitor of theirs launch with blue and yellow and just go, hey, I saw this, it made me think of you. And, it's ironic that this person has, and then it opens up that conversation again, like, where did you get with it, or are you still thinking about it? So it's probably going to be something external that you're sharing, but it's probably, for most people, they see something and they think, oh, that makes me think of Natasha, but they don't actually send it.
Yeah.
And it's sent with no expectation. It's not sent with a kind of are you ready to work together? It's just a conversation opener.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. That's awesome.
Okay, what other
Kathy Chase has got a question. How often would you recommend doing blogs?
Oh, now this is interesting because I've got clients who blog every week. I think if you're starting to blog, I did a blogging course actually a while ago, and they said if you're starting to blog, then you needed to do it every week for the first 6 months to get the algorithm and everything going, and then you could pull it back a bit. So it is quite a commitment, but it depends how you're using it. So I've got one client, and she actually blogs every week, but she does it more. So she works in what I call a dry industry that's not particularly exciting, and there's no movement. And so she does it so she's got something to put on like LinkedIn so that she can connect with people. So it kind of, yeah, that's what I have been told, once a week for the first 6 months, and then you can pull it back to once a fortnight. But you've got to be doing it enough to if you're doing it for the SEO to make that have an impact.
Madeline, is that right? Madeline's got a question. Could you do the BBY as a double-sided referral to keep my admin simple, or would you recommend an actual discount offer?
Okay, so with the BBY, where's Madeline? Could you do the BBY, business before yours, as a double-sided referral?
Madeline, you're welcome to come and speak.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if I did the BBY offer to say, as a property manager, maybe I partnered with an accountant or advisor. If I were to give them the double-sided referral offer where, you know, they're a client and they get a $100 Westfield voucher, for example, which is something that I also offer my clients, so that it's just one thing I'm managing rather than a discount program for this person's clients. And, you know,
I personally like to keep it the same, to give them both the same. One, because it's a bit complicated, and two, because then the way that I do it with my clients is that they have a draft email that they send out that kind of says, you know, sign up and we both win and get a $50 voucher, which is much easier than kind of like that. Yeah.
So if I were to do a business to business referral, the BBY thing that you mentioned, where you're saying, oh, you could have a discount, your client here's a voucher for a discount for the first 3 months or whatever, as opposed to that, could I have a voucher that I would just get those professionals to hand to their clients to say, oh, you know, if you can have a chat to her, and if you go ahead, we both get this? Or would that be a bit weird?
You could do. Yeah, you could do. You could have it. Yes, you could do that.
Okay.
But I would just keep the reward the same for both parties.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Was there any other questions, ladies?
Does it feel like it's something that you guys can, you know, do you feel overwhelmed, or does this feel manageable? Are they putting it in the chat?
I'd like to say that what a great reminder. I thought I had it all sussed. And then I listen to you and I go, oh my God, I've forgotten to do that. I've forgotten to do that. So I have a big question, Sarah. How do you manage all of this? Do you have a system in place? Do you use an Excel spreadsheet? Like, is there a portal that you go to on a daily basis that you go, oh, I've got to tick that off and I need to post this. I need to tick this off and post that. I need to connect with Enos. I haven't spoken to her for a week. You know, how do you manage all of this? Is there a system you've got in place?
So I have my priorities. So with my social media, Girl Talk Business is one of my priorities. So I will always do a post on a Friday. and I will always make sure that by Thursday I have done my posts that I'm allowed to do as a member. Okay, so so I guess it's about making priorities. I mean, I do a daily morning mindset thing, and I list my top 3 tasks at the bottom of that. I always make sure that once a week I do a post on my page and on my LinkedIn. And I've kind of got, I don't have a kind of, my week is a bit up and down and all over the place as a working mother. But I have these kind of windows where I can do stuff. And so it's kind of like an ideal window when I can say, if I'm waiting with one of the kids an activity, I can create a social media post then, you know, but I can't do something strategy like. So that's like a perfect window to do something like that. I just make sure that I do it. I make it a priority, I suppose. And I really enjoy it. Like I love it. So it's not hard for me. With the Zoom coffees, I just book them in, or I'll just kind of go, oh, you know, I normally have them booked in, say, up to a week in advance. And then I will kind of go, oh, I don't have anything in next week. I'll just reach out to a couple of people and have a Zoom coffee with them. With my nurturing, so I've got my lead magnet and email nurture sequence, that just flows. But if I have a Zoom coffee with somebody, and because I know that lead magnet will give them value, I will send them a link after the Zoom coffee. And so, you know, just go, because I know it's going to give them, whether they end up working with me or not, I know they're going to get value from that lead magnet. So I send it to them, and then, you know, I kind of nurtures them through that and gives them value. So that's that part sorted. With the sale, most of my sales are quite quick. You know, I don't do proposals personally. I'll do them with my clients, but for me personally, when I work with people, I don't have to write proposals. And then with retaining clients, that really just comes naturally when, you know, people will say, like, there's one client in education, and I've worked with her for about 3 years, and she, you know, kind of said to me that the consultants are really struggling to sell. Can you do some sales training with them? You know, and now I'm doing a 6-month coaching program with that team, and it's been amazing. But we just recognized that was a problem in the business. So I mean, one thing you can do is do a kind of offboarding when a project is finished. Like, do an offboarding with them, and that may lead to, you know, kind of bring more issues to the fore that you can help with. And it's also important to make sure that people know what you can help with, because they don't always, it isn't always obvious to people, and they would prefer to, if you've done a good job, they'll prefer to stay working with you than go off and find someone else and have to bring them on board and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's certainly my personal preference, is to have good people and have a good team.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, we've gone well over time. I think it was a really informative workshop. I hope everyone else got as much value as I did. I've certainly learned a lot. I had to be a little bit more focused on letting people in and making sure I did the back end. But I'm going to watch the video back and go through the workbook in my own time. And I'm sure there'll be some revelations for me. So we haven't had a chance to tell everyone, because some people have already left. You know, an hour and a half is quite a long time to listen to someone. So we understand everyone's got other things on. What's going to happen now is we've got all your emails, and I hope you're okay with this. We'll send you out a follow-up email with the information of where you can find this video. And again, where you can obviously go back to the workbook if you haven't had a chance to download the workbook. You'll find all of this on Girls Talk Business. We've opened up the resource centre to non-members, so you're welcome to scroll through, search through all the information that's on there. It's all open to anyone that wants to find out more information. And if you happen to be wanting to do what Sarah's just done, you're more than welcome to connect with me, and we can talk about how you too can join Girls Talk Business and do your own presentation. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today. Any last words, anyone? That's my dog snoring, by the way. All right, I'm going to stop recording now.